Welcome to the Stop Over Drinking and Start Living podcast, where high-achieving, goal-oriented rebel women come to learn how to live a vibrant and fulfilling life without requiring alcohol to get through it. No labels, no judgments, no saying you'll never drink again. Just real proven methods to help you stop rebelling against yourself with alcohol so you can drink less and do more. I'm your host, Angela Mascenik. Let's dig in. I want sugar. I know you like it. Welcome to episode 217, Joyful and Alive. Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening. Just good. How are you all? Oh my gosh, it is full on spring here. And I don't know if y'all follow me on the socials, but you should, at Coach with Angela Mascenik. But yesterday I posted a reel of these beautiful spring flowers that I got and created about 10 different bouquets because I'm hosting a VIP retreat in my home for my amazing clients. And they're all arriving here in a few hours. And I'm recording this podcast very early in the morning. And I'm listening to the birds chirping outside, and I was just sitting in sort of reflective silence here, thinking about them and you, my loyal listeners, and everybody who is familiar with my work. And, I ask myself questions all the time, like, what do you need to know? And what would be so useful for you to help you drink less right away? Like, what's the easiest thing I can share with you? And what came up was this idea of being joyful and alive and sort of tapping into some of your childlike qualities that we all have, that we still have, even though we're not children, right? We're adults with all the responsibilities and things. And we forget that we can sort of enact that joyfulness and aliveness inside of us because of life and not knowing how to direct our lives in the way that we want and feel the way that we want to feel and do the things that we want to do. We sort of forget that we have that agency over ourselves. And as a life coach, that's my job, is to help ignite that inside of you, help ignite your life and your aliveness and your joy and finding your pleasure and doing things that you want to do, right? Instead of always just doing what you've been told to do or all of your obligations, right? And then all of that energy, that sort of big adulting energy, can feel like a lot, right? And then we look to things like alcohol or food at the end of the day to give us a little hit of pleasure. And my new program, Alive AF, is exactly what I'm talking about. It helps you stop over drinking for sure. And there's, a structure and guidelines around that in our self-guided course that I created. And then the other part of that is helping you feel more joyful and alive and happier and doing more of the things that you enjoy that make you feel good so that you don't need to run to the wine cabinet at the end of the night to get that hit of pleasure or relieve yourself or shut it down or relax, right? So on this podcast, I want to talk to you about feeling joyful and alive. And the best way I can do that is give you examples and reflect on how I do that in my own life. So one example is yesterday or this weekend when I bought the flowers for my clients in my home to sort of invite the spring inside and to have bright colors and smells and textures and things that when you look at that, it makes you feel good, right? So when I look at bright colors and fresh flowers, especially when I'm outside in nature, that makes me feel good. So when I look at it, I'm saying, oh, I love that color. Look at the way the light's hitting that tree. Ooh, the grass is so green right now. Look at the difference between the bright green grass and the brown trees. I love the complexities of all the different ranges of colors. Like, that's what's going on in my mind. And when I think that way, then I feel good. Like, I'm noticing all of this aliveness and joy that I think is joyful around me. And then I feel good and I feel alive. Okay. So that's one way I do it. But I bought these flowers at Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's has the best flowers, and I always buy them there for my events. And then I arrange my own bouquets because I actually enjoy doing that. It's fun for me. It makes me feel joyful and it ignites my creativity, right? So when I'm doing that, I was doing that Sunday morning. It was early in the morning. And I was drinking my coffee and I was arranging these beautiful flowers and I'm thinking about which colors would look good together. And I have all like hundreds of stems, lined up in front of me. And I get to choose which ones I think go good. And I'd put a stem in a glass and then I'd put another one in. And then I notice I'm like, don't really like that. I'm going to try this one. And I just play. And I'm playing around with it and I'm putting different colors and different, ways to arrange things together. And it feels so good, right? I'm doing something that I feel joyful around. It makes me feel alive. I'm using my creative gifts. Okay. And when I do that, I'm noticing how great I feel when I do that. And part of learning how to stop over drinking is understanding your likes and your interests and adding some things in that maybe you don't even know that you like. Listen, I did not know that I liked arranging flowers. Okay. Now I've done this many times now. And so I know that I like it now, like in this last experience, but I didn't know that I enjoyed that when I was over drinking all the time, especially on the weekends. Like in the past, my Sunday morning would be me staying in bed absolutely as long as I possibly could. Right. And like getting as much sleep as I could because I had drank too much the night before and I would wake up with a headache and crabby. And then I would need to like cut myself off from the family and, recover or eat really shitty food to soak up the alcohol in my stomach. And I definitely was not, arranging beautiful tulips and daffodils and greenery and, like at 7:30 in the morning, drinking my coffee, like humming along and feeling amazing. Okay. I had to stop over drinking and then start building in things and trying things that I actually enjoyed doing. Okay. So I want you to be creative. I want you to be open. I want you to think about, okay, so I'm not over drinking. So that means I probably won't be waking up hungover. What could I try one morning? What could I try one evening, right? That I might find interesting. And sometimes I just stumbled upon this stuff, right? So I remember at the beginning of COVID, um, when everybody was excited about, homeschooling their kids for the first week, they're like, oh, we're doing all these fun things together and we're spending so much time together at home. It was kind of like a novelty. And so I started doing art. We had art class with the kids every day. And I would lead this hour-long art session. And I got out some of the kids' old, like, kid watercolor paints, and we just started painting and drawing. And then I found a 30-day art challenge where they would post like like a topic of the day and then you would draw or paint it. And so I joined that. And so every day for 30 days we did art. And over that time, I discovered that I have like this really awesome creativity inside of me and that I'm actually a really good artist. And I started drawing and painting and I actually sold a couple things during that time. Like it was really, really good. And I didn't know that that was inside of me. I have not picked up drawing or painting or anything since I was in high school. Okay. So 20 plus years. It was more than that. It was like 25 years. I hadn't touched that because of life, like I was mentioning earlier, right? You get busy, you get going with your work and your relationships and your kids and all that stuff. And you just sort of don't do that stuff anymore. And I was like, holy shit, this was a hidden talent that I didn't know that I had. Okay. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed seeing my progress over time. I enjoyed sharing it with people. I did art for other people. I sent it to my family and friends, the kids, and we did it together. Like it was definitely this thing that I felt really happy about. Right. But I stumbled upon it because I was willing to do something different around COVID. So it's not like I planned all of it to do like intentionally when I was stopping over drinking. What happened was when I was stopping over drinking, I noticed that I naturally was getting up earlier. And I would take the dog outside for a walk or be outside to do my exercise. And I noticed that I enjoyed the birds singing in the morning. And I enjoyed seeing the sunlight filtering in through the trees in the morning. And I noticed that when I paid attention to those things, I felt joyful and alive. And so I started doing more of those things. And then it started building upon of each other. And then I was open to trying other things. Come like, if I could be wrong about liking the morning like I was for my whole life, what else could I be wrong about? Like I hated the mornings, y'all. I hated them. Even if I wasn't drinking, I hated them. I've told this so many times before, but my husband, I would make him get ready in another bathroom in our house because the door to our bathroom in our bedroom had like a like an inch crack at the bottom of it, like, and the light would come through, and that would wake me up. And if he woke me up, then I would be like my whole day, like I would just be raging. And so I was wrong that I wasn't a morning person. I actually am a morning person now. And I'm delighted by different things now. I was wrong about that about myself. And so when I started seeing that I actually could like different things, I was like, oh, what else can I try? What else can I do? And it just sort of naturally started building from there. I realized I really like nature. I like being outside. I like being active every day. I like early mornings. I like sunrises. Those things light me up. And most of that stuff I just mentioned is 100% free, right? I didn't need to go join a class. I didn't need to go learn how to do any of this stuff. I just naturally went towards the things that made me feel joyful and alive. Okay. And so as you're starting your journey to stop over drinking, or maybe you're well on the path and like you're doing really well and you're on a break, or you're managing really well. If you're not feeling joyful and alive every day, I want to invite you to start looking for things. Start seeking out some things that could maybe ignite that inside of you. You can use examples for me, like get outside in nature is probably the fastest and easiest thing that you can do, and start noticing the different colors and the animals and the wildlife and the beautiful nature that surrounds you. Like it really can be very magical. There's life out there that's happening every day, and it's bigger than our stuff, right? Like our mind and our problems are just so acute and so small inside of our own mind. It makes it feel like it's everything, right? But when you get outside of your mind and you go observe nature and you get fresh air and you move your body and you connect, it makes the things that we suffer with and our problems seem a lot smaller, because nature keeps happening every day, right? And the little birdies wake up every morning and they chirp no matter what. And the flowers bloom every spring and the leaves change every fall. Like there's cycles of nature that if you can get out there and observe, it will help you work through your seasons and your challenges, I promise. So that's probably the best and easiest thing that you can do. You can try journaling. You can try drawing, sketching. When I was doing that 30-day challenge, I looked up YouTube videos, and I would, or like little tutorials. It'd be like how to draw a iris or how to draw a lily. And like there would be really easy, free tutorials that I would just watch, and then I would pick up a technique and try it, and keep moving forward. The thing about feeling joyful and alive is you actually have to go out and do some stuff. It's not going to just happen. It doesn't just happen naturally most of the time. We actually have to make an attempt. We have to be intentional about seeking it and finding it. Because what happens is our mind is default just negative. It's going to go focus on what we don't have, how, like what are the bad things, because that's just how brains operate, right? It's exactly trying to protect us from harm. So it's going to go seek out any possible dangers or negative things to keep you safe. And as you become more joyful and alive, it's important that you also know that, and that you seek out some of those feelings for yourself so that you can ignite that sort of inner child within you. Okay? So get outside, try some new things. If you need ideas, there's drawing, there's coloring, there's a beautiful adult coloring books. People start knitting, reading a juicy novel, like a love story. I like talking on the phone with my friends. I love exercising, getting up early in the morning and getting up and seeing the sunrise. I love getting up earlier and you still see the stars and the moon outside. Like that's super magical. There's just so many different things that you can try, right? But when you ask yourself, what would help me feel joyful and alive? What comes up? And maybe think about what it was like when you were a kid. What did you really enjoy doing when you were like 8 or 9 years old? Did you love playing with dolls? Did you love playing dress up? Do you love, gardening? Do you like planting flowers? Like, what did you like doing? Jump rope. There's like dancing. Like, there's so many things that we can do that can help us feel joyful and alive. One of my favorite things also is when I'm running, I listen to my play mix, and there's so many good songs on there. If you guys haven't checked that out, it's the Wine Free Work Week playlist on Spotify. And I run dance. So I will literally be like air guitaring, leaping, fist pump in the air, just like thumbs up, like jamming, like run jamming. And it, like, I love doing it in the woods. Um, and then, in full transparency, I look around to see if anybody's watching me. And then sometimes there are, and I'm just like, you know what? I don't care. I'm having fun. I feel like a kid when I'm doing that. And when you add some of that stuff into your life, you're just like, "Oh, it just feels so good to be alive and joyful." You don't want to escape that, even when things feel hard. And I'm not telling you that this joyful and aliveness and having fun and feeling like a child and all of this lasts all the time. Of course, you're going to have other emotions. But when you intentionally seek this out, it will help you be able to work through some of the harder stuff as well, because you know that there's moments of joy and aliveness that you can feel anytime you want to. And when you numb the bad stuff, the bad feelings, it also numbs the good stuff. It's not like it's a pill that you can take that just directs into your negative emotions when you drink. It's a blanket. It covers up all of your other good feelings too. So for example, just like when I'm talking about arranging the flowers this weekend, if I had overdrank on Saturday, I would have missed having that joy and aliveness and connection and creativity moment, because I would have been too tired and dehydrated and pissed off at myself to even be willing to do something like that. Okay, I would have missed that opportunity. Or I could have, had planned to arrange some flowers and just not felt good doing it and missed out on that joyful and aliveness experience. So it's not, a lot of people like, it's just, it's the only thing I know how to do. It's my go-to to relax and all that. It's just, remember, it's stealing away the good feelings that you have too. We're supposed to have a rainbow of emotions, okay? And it's our job to kind of seek out some of these opportunities to make ourselves feel good and more free and more lively and young and happy, and all that stuff is still available to you, I promise. If I can run dance in the woods and not care if I get spotted, you can too. I might make my clients do that today. I'll keep you posted, right? But it's like, just be carefree. Just try to be carefree. You can do one thing today. Ask yourself, what can I do to help myself feel a little carefree today, feel more joyful, feel more alive? And the answer is not go drinking rosé outside on a sunny day. Okay? It does not include alcohol. We have to show ourselves that we can do more fun and lively things that gives us that hit that we want. A lot of times when people want to overdrink and release and escape on the weekends, it's because that's what they're actually seeking. They're seeking that freedom, that joyfulness, that aliveness, that carefreeness that you can get naturally by doing some of the things that you actually enjoy doing and without needing anything outside of yourself to make that so, right? Because we know when we seek that on the weekends or whenever, we want that freedom, we want that to shut it all down and not to think about stuff. That comes at a cost, right? Me run jumping and run dancing through the woods doesn't come at a cost. That's ultimate joy and fills me up so much. It's good for me. I don't have any hangovers from that, right? So your escapeness through the alcohol is costing you all of this other good stuff on the other side. All right, my friends, go out there, feel joyful, find your aliveness, and if you want my help, come join me in Alive AF, our monthly membership. You can come, try it for a month. You can cancel anytime. We still have availability for the annual membership, where you can get 2 months for free if you pay up front. All of the details can be found at angelamascenik.com/AliveAF. That's ALIVE AF. angelamascenik.com/AliveAF. And you should also get my subscription box. It's called Alive AF as well. It's a quarterly subscription box where I have packed all of my amazing things that help me feel alive and good in a box. And there's a book, there's a journal, there's a candle, there's a nice beauty counter product, there's a beautiful adult, sophisticated, non-alcoholic drink in there, some tea and some other fun things. And when you receive that box, it'll help you feel more joyful and excited and have some support materials where you can tap into exactly what I'm talking about and find that joyful and aliveness inside of you. All right, my friends, I hope you have a beautiful week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
it off.